I'd like to extend a huge thank you to Mike J Autos and Stuff, the only guy I know who would trust me to drive a 60 grand car. Please subscribe to his channel and check it out in the description below. So, let's roll the tape. Hey guys, it's Ricer Boy, and today I'm going to be doing a review of this Chevy Corvette Stingray, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts of it, this being a C7 generation with the V8 and the 8-speed automatic transmission. So with that out of the way, let's shift it into drive and put it out on the road. So the Chevy Corvette is one of the longest running automotive marques in the entire industry. This car has been around for quite a while, and through that we have had 8 generations so far. This is the 7th generation. And while everyone is excited about the C8 switching to a mid-engine design, we tend to forget that this is the Corvette that we last had, and that this base model is basically what most people are going to be getting. So when it comes to Corvette, people are confused. What's the big idea with this car? V8 engine, automatic transmission, all-American made in bowling green. So the thing is that this car is a mixture of multiple things. This is what people consider as an entry-level supercar, a personal luxury car, a baby boomer retirement car, and also, above all else, I would say a sports car. But you guys want me to floor it, so let's see how this thing does. And that's fast enough for today.
How is it?
Oh, well, this thing is fast. So this thing has a 460 horsepower, 6.2 liter V8 that has push rods and is attached to an 8-speed automatic transmission mounted at the rear. This thing has rear wheel drive and it handles quite remarkably well. So there's no question that the Corvette is quick. This thing has always been quicker than its Camaro stablemate, and that's just because of the power that it makes and the lightness that it has. This car weighs 3,300 pounds and it does not feel a pound over that. So the Corvette's fast, it has a V8, it's definitely affordable, especially for the power that it has. But we always wonder how it handles too, because this thing is lighter than a Camaro, and they market this thing as a sports car. As you can see, the steering is very sensitive. I don't have to move this thing much to get much of a result, and the steering is very light, which means that this thing has a lot of response. Let's do a corner with some gas. Yeah, this thing can handle. Check this out. So when it comes to this car, this thing talks the talk and it walks the walk. Chevy has deliberately designed this car so that way someone who would buy a Camaro wouldn't be the same person who would buy a Corvette. When it comes to this car, the average age of a buyer is 61 years old, and that's a problem that Chevy wants to help rectify. Now, this is definitely not a car you can drive every day, unlike what some retirees may think, because when it comes to the ride quality, it's a bit flaky over bumps. You definitely know that they're there. And when it comes to the tires that this car comes with, they are definitely on the aggressive side. Every piece of gravel you see gets picked up by these tires and is thrown right onto the rear bumper. So part of the reason why this car is to a different market than the Camaro is because this is not as comfortable and you really cannot daily drive a car like this. So honestly, if you're thinking about buying one of these cars, you need to consider the weather that's in your area, because this can't be the only car that you own. But when it comes to getting that sports car recipe, and especially at a price like this, the Corvette has always excelled in the performance numbers that you get for the price. This thing has all the amenities you could possibly want. It comes stock with leather, you can get ventilated and heated seats, it has a nice audio system, I mean, there's a reason why people retire into these cars, because if you want a second car that is truly not so bad for living in, this thing is definitely more practical than a Lamborghini for that matter. You guys want to see me accelerate again, right? Okay. And that's illegal. This thing scoots. But guys, the truth about the Corvette is that it is appreciated just as much as it's ridiculed. Because the fact that boomers buy these cars makes people think that this is a car for old people. But really, it's not. So even though I'm recording on top of my head right now, try to ignore that, because hear me out. The Corvette is not really appreciated by people who are in my generation because it's still viewed as an old man car. And that's the stigma that Chevrolet is trying to dispel with this car. You know, people still think that this is a plastic Tinker Toys car and that it's cheap and that only old men drive it, but this thing makes all the right noises. It is a performance car through and through, regardless of it being American or plastic, this and that. I mean, sure, it's impractical, but what sports car isn't? For being a sports car, there's actually a decently sized hatch and you could fit stuff in the back. That in dealerships don't even want these on the lots anymore because of the mid-engine Corvette. So the thing is, I'm not saying that you have to like the Corvette or think that all the generations are brilliant, because the car's made some mistakes, as any has over its illustrious time that it's been around. A car with a storied history as long as this can't be perfect or the best in its class all the time. But give the Corvette a chance, because I definitely did. I thought that this was some kind of rebadged Camaro, and it surprised me, because this car definitely drives different than a Camaro. I mean, steering that's this accurate is pretty hard to come by. Brakes that are this powerful are more than appreciated, and the suspension can actually keep up with the chassis of the car. There's a reason why this thing has made track records. So overall, I have to give the Chevrolet Corvette C7 generation 2 thumbs up. It handles well, and really, what more could you ask for if you're not going to be paying Lamborghini prices? So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.